Damo, moving on to the fallout from the Toby Green suspension. What was your take?
Look, I felt it was okay. I think the AFL's got itself confused with how its own operations unfold. The fact that they sent this issue to the tribunal without putting a determination on it itself, I think confused the issue. So when Gillon McLachlan, rightly in his position, then questions the leniency of the 3 weeks when it's handed down, I think you just need to take it back and take ownership of it as an organisation. The Match Review Office, Joey, should, in my eyes, have been able to put a determination of weeks on it and then send it to the tribunal. Not the other way around. Not, hey, tribunal, you look after this. You formulate the policy on our behalf. Because as we know in the way that structure works, you've got the Match Review Office, you've got the tribunal, and then the Appeals Tribunal. I think at the starting point, the actual game itself, the organisation itself, the Match Review Office needs to be really clear. Not just for the next stages of the process, but for the players and the game itself to have had that as its starting position. And while that's I suppose an office style of explanation as to what's happened here, I think it's pretty important. I think for the next year, the Match Review Office needs to properly put down its adjudication on every single matter and not continually handball stuff over to the other body, which is independent and obviously part-time.
Yeah, it's a good take, isn't it? It feels like the MRO and the tribe, they've lost their way a bit this year with how it all works and the processes and how they come to their decisions. It's lost its way, hasn't it?
Oh, there's no precedence. It's been like that for a long time. We speak about it week in, week out. Are we all happy with the punishment, by the way? But I'm assuming the AFL's not going to appeal the 3-week ban now. Is that all done and dusted?
Well, again, as we talk, and we record this program, as we know, prior to it being published, as we talk, there's been no announcement of that, but the deadline is still open for them to do so.
Until when, Damo?
Look, a matter of hours from the time we're speaking.
That's the
right
bit
now.
that disappoints me now, that they're saying, well, the AFL might appeal. I mean, look, after listening to all the evidence and the cross-examination and all of that type of stuff, I thought Stevic, by the way, was superb in what he said. I thought he was honest and open and said it was a bad look, but didn't feel threatened and all of those things. And I think people are forgetting that part of it. He never felt threatened. There was contact. I thought in the end, I thought there had to be a penalty once you knew that there was contact, because the contact could have been avoided. I think the 3 weeks, by the way, and I've heard people say it already, in finals, they've got to be, it's a heavier weight. So it really is more like 6 weeks, especially if they get through this week and he misses a prelim and potentially a grand final. So I think all in all, I think it's ended up landing in a fairly fair spot for me.
I think that there's no doubt that if you touch an umpire, you should be rubbed out. But I think that's regardless if you do it in the manner that Lachie Neale did it or you did Toby Green. Because the evidence and the facts say that Toby Green's incident is no worse than Lachie Neale's.
Correct.
He touched an umpire, but as Stevic said, it didn't feel the contact was disrespectful, aggressive or demonstrative. So they were the criteria he was up against. So that's the facts and the evidence given by the bloke who's on the ground in the heat of the moment. As a look and as an opinion piece.
He did say afterwards.
But that's a look.
Yeah, no, after looking at the vision, he did say disrespectful.
But I think we can still all agree that it looked disrespectful. Yeah. But at the time, he didn't seem fit to report him.
Yeah.
And then the AFL comes out after that evidence is given, and says that Toby Green will be guilty of making intentional contact. The jury is satisfied that the contact was aggressive, demonstrative and disrespectful after your own umpire has said that it wasn't any of those. So that's where I don't like it. I think that no doubt going forward, you can say if you touch an umpire in any sense, the minimum's 3 and we're going steeply up from there. But in this instance, with the way the current situation is, I don't see them any difference in what Lachie Neale did to Toby after the facts were given.
Yeah, look, I can see your points, Dave. I don't agree with all of them, but I reckon they're valid points in this overall argument. But I look at Matt Stevic's performance, or not performance, wrong word, appearance at that tribunal yesterday as almost adhering to the player's code. Like when the person who's hit in an incident often goes up and says, I didn't feel much.
Why? Why is it a player's code? Why isn't he just being honest with how he felt at that time?
How do you know how he felt?
That's my take on it, Joey.
Right.
What I'm saying is I feel, though, the AFL is still right, over and above all of the evidence presented by him, to still have its own position on it. That is, that the look was not that they want to tolerate.
Then why have criteria? Why not just go off looks of things? Because at the minute, that's what they haven't gone through the evidence and the facts. They've gone off what the look and the opinion of everyone is. Because that
is partially my point, Days, to finally fix up the Match Review Office and actually say and stand for what it is that you are prepared to. stand for when it comes to such incidents. Don't send it to the tribunal without a week allotment on it and ask the tribunal to deal with it. Actually send it to the tribunal saying this is 6 weeks and it's up to Toby to work backwards from that, if indeed that's what they deem it to be.
Don't send it to the tribunal if you're going to appeal it again after. May happen.
So, Daisy, are you trying to say you think that from now on, any sort of contact with an umpire, even if it's just you're putting an arm on a shoulder as you're trying to make way or move, but you think any contact now should be a suspension?
You need to remove any grey area.
If they back into you or you run
not intentional contact, I should say. So Lachie Neale intentionally touched the umpire to notify him of his nose bleeding. You can't do that. Don't touch the. If you run into him accidentally in the field of play, that's going to happen.
But isn't this, Damo, going back to 2018? I was having a look at it. The reason why we didn't want to automatically suspend everyone, because there were some instances where Dustin Martin and Stephen May were having conversations with umpires and we're basically showing them, what was happening.
Don't do that.
But it was in a respectful manner where the umpire could handle it. And they said, well, we don't want players missing weeks because they're having a conversation with an umpire, they're demonstrating something, there might have been contact. The whole reason that we didn't suspend them automatically was to allow some human, interaction where these things can happen without it being disrespectful. And now, as soon as there is contact again, it was inappropriate and completely unreasonable from Toby. Now we want to say any touch of an umpire, we're going to suspend blokes. I'm not sure that's the right answer. I think there needs to be a bit of a scale and a bit of a grey area.
I'm happy with that being the case, Joey. Yeah. Again, I'm coming at it from a different perspective. I'm coming at it from the look perspective, the media side of the game, having not played it like you guys. But you've got to start somewhere. And the confusion has been created by the wiggle room on this particular issue, as is the case with so many of other AFL rules, including the holding the ball one.
But going back to 2018, I read articles. The umpires are actually the ones that went and said, we don't necessarily want players getting suspended for touching us. If it's done in a manner that's respectful and the umpires were the ones that said they're okay with it. The Toby Green one we're keeping separate. We know that was different. But there are some instances where if there is a touching of an umpire, if it's not in any, they shouldn't be suspended. But we agree, you absolutely have to make sure you look after
Matt
the umpires.
Stevic, though, said it wasn't disrespectful. So, therefore, he's adjudicating that as a respectful conversation on the field. So, to that point, Toby should have got off if you're going to give that sort of grey area.
We can go on about this all day. It's been done and dusted now, and it's a big blow for Toby Green and for the Giants, more importantly. It makes it very difficult to win, although they are playing the Cats, Damo, and gee, what is the fallout I don't think any of us can see it happening, but if Geelong lose this week, do you think there is a fallout?
Just on the other topic, Joey, again, I don't know how this is going to work with our show, but I'm just being told now that the AFL will be appealing that particular case. Yeah, so again, that's not confirmed, and we're talking on the run here, but that's come from someone who would, I think, know the situation.
So this is just after 12 o'clock
why
on the
Wednesday.
Why
has it taken this long?
Why that?
This happened, that's 24 hours.
It's disappointing that they're appealing.
They've got the right to do it, though.
Yeah,
they did it with the Kernos a couple of years ago. They did it with Bashir Hooley, and they had to do it with the Bashir Hooley thing, that hit that he made back in 2017 when they increased it from 2 eventually to 4.
So they put systems in place and then just overruled them.
And Toby is now, he's going to be the man who they changed the rule because of the looks and that. Not the evidence again, not what was given, not what actually happened, because of the look and the aesthetics of it that you can't touch an umpire.
And once again, if you go off the evidence of the umpire, then I think what he's been given is fair.